We are back and we're live from the Jaffa Port here at Building Blocks 2025. Thank you again to Collider for inviting us and hosting us here. I am joined by another legend in the local blockchain space and also in the local blockchain event space, none other than Ben Samocha. Initially, I would have introduced you as the CEO and founder of CryptoJungle, but I know you guys are doing some rebranding and you want to be called something a little bit more mature and institutional. So I'll let you introduce us based on the new name, although I see you're still wearing the old swag.
Of course, we're still CryptoJungle, but CryptoJungle became an asset of the Israeli blockchain and crypto center.
Okay.
Israeli blockchain crypto center. So under the center, we have CryptoJungle, which is the largest media platform in Israel. It's a website, YouTube channel, podcast, community, etc. And we have the Blockchain and Digital Currency College, where we teach both the government, the banks, the blockchain companies, the credit card companies, and the retail traders and investors as well. And we do the largest conferences in Israel as well.
Conferences anybody could do, but content and quality content is not an easy thing to create. And I want to say, like, I haven't personally engaged enough with your content because, like, it's all for those of you who are not listening, because we have a very international, global audience. CryptoJungle basically is the only place that you can go to get crypto news, global news in Hebrew. So it has been and always is the go-to place for people who are not native English speakers to get connected to what's going on in the crypto ecosystem on the regulatory side, on the trading side, on the investment side. Whatever is happening in the ecosystem is basically translated to Hebrew and put through Ben's platforms. And there's a website, cryptojungle.co.il, and there's also Facebook groups and there's Telegram groups, and it's really like phenomenal content. Again, I can't say firsthand because I'm more comfortable in English, but I know from all of my friends and colleagues in the space, and I would say even from like professionals in the industry, and this is where I really want to like give you credit. Professionals who have been in the space for a long time, who have done your crypto expert course, have said that they found that it is able to provide them tremendous value just in the way that things are set out and orchestrated in a manner that makes sense of everything. And so kudos to you for providing such quality content. Again, I can't say firsthand, but I've heard from many, many, many people who have engaged with your content. Not an easy feat to be able to bring value to people who are already crypto experts in a sense. So very, very cool. I know that you're like a bit of a legend here in the local ecosystem, but I also know from you and from others that you're making your second big appearance outside of Israel at the Bitcoin Vegas conference that's going to be at the end of May. My colleagues and I at DLT Law are also sponsoring the event, and we'll be there. We're going to have a booth. We're going to be live broadcasting Beyond the Code. Maybe we'll all be able to do another session there together. But I know that you're also going to be a speaker at the event, and you're also representing some of the local companies in the industry there. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I was invited back in October 23 to be a speaker in Bitcoin Amsterdam.
Yeah, I remember.
And then October 7th happened, and I chose to lead with you and with others in the Israeli community the Crypto at Israel campaign, where we raised funds to help with every effort possible that we could, and we raised over 1 million shekels and delivered them as soon as we could to Israeli banks and to the people in need. But it also meant that I didn't have my opportunity, and now it came again. So I was in touch with the organizers of Bitcoin Vegas, and they were very excited to have me over. So I was officially invited about a month ago, and I decided to make a delegation out of it. So we now have more than 14 people that are already participating in this delegation, which essentially means that we go hang out together. The purpose is to have friends to make friends with. Many people in this space don't have their, native childhood friends discuss crypto with them or Bitcoin with them.
On that note, I'm going to tell you a little anecdote. I go frequently to these global events, and we almost always take a booth, our firm, and somehow all of the Israelis end up congregating at our booth and like charging their phones there, dropping their swag bags and their suitcases. And so it's almost like a service that we provide to the Israeli community where they could like park their shit. So I don't know if you guys are going to have a booth, but if not, all of you in your delegation are welcome to come by and charge your phones.
We're not going to have a booth. We will be hosting a podcast. So I'm going to build it on my suite in definition. We already have the setup in motion, and I'm going to be interviewing international speakers, people that I personally adore and have learned much from. So that would be the goal from my side, and I also have my staff coming, so we're gonna vlog it all the way,
That's
and
phenomenal.
even a month
Okay, so
prior.
I'm looking forward to partying in Vegas
Exactly.
together.
Wow, it's gonna be amazing.
Tell me, I wanna. Now that I have you on the platform, there's two more things I want to talk about before I let you go. I don't know if you're in a rush. Let me know if you have to run. First, I want to just dive into your story a little bit and to your, what I like to call your genesis block, how you fell into crypto. I remember when you were really hustling back in the day. I remember going to local events, and you would come schlepping everything by yourself up in the elevator before you had a team, and giving out flyers to people, telling them to go to your website. It's a real hustle.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. How did you fall into this space, and what's it been like growing it from a one man team to I
Yeah.
don't know how many guys you have now, but it's certainly quite a bit.
So now we have 11 people on my staff.
Wow.
And yeah, it's been definitely hectic and interesting. I call it a semi-pro poker player. Back
Really?
in 2015, when when I found Bitcoin, I started using it as money because poker is banned in Israel. So
You're
international
getting good at this.
platforms like Poker Styles closed doors in Israel, and I was starting to use it as money, and I did so for a year and a half. When suddenly I had this amazing month in poker, where for a per student I made a lot of money, and it was all in Bitcoin. So I did what every guy would do. I panicked like a little girl, and after not sleeping all night and winning a tournament, I drove from Beersheba, where I used to live, to a place where I knew I could solve it in the center.
You think it's
And
gonna come, but it's not.
yeah, and that was basically my real intro to Bitcoin, because other than that, I just used it as money, as a wallet. I knew how to send, how to receive, and that was basically all I cared about. And the day after, I was like, holy shit, why did I react like that? And I started learning about Bitcoin. I immediately opened the Bitcoin white paper on one screen, the other screen Google, trying to decipher every fucking sentence there. Sorry for the pardon my language. And I immediately understood that this is going to be revolutionary, and it's going to change how we do money and an economy as a whole, which therefore means we're going to change the world. So I
That was your
dove.
aha moment.
That was definitely my aha moment, and I started learning how to invest and how to trade, and the technology, and governance impact, and monetary systems, and how they evolved, and how money really moves in the world today. And I understood that I want to do this. And at first, I didn't know what exactly, so I started educating. I did seminars in my apartment in Beersheba for 4 or 5 people at a time. Then my previous co-founder, previous partner and co-founder found me. We started
Who's that?
CryptoJungle
I didn't
together.
realize you have
His
a.
name was Pavel,
Okay.
and I bought his share in 2020, a few years after. But this was December 2017 when we started the business, and the purpose was to create order, to navigate the jungle. Right, so the crypto is a jungle. There was no information whatsoever in Hebrew, no guides,
Wow.
no news, nothing, and that was the goal: education and content.
So you brought crypto to the masses in Israel,
Exactly,
quite
that was,
literally.
yeah.
Wow.
And then the bear market started, obviously, as soon as I launched my business. And I ended up about a year in also working for Market Across, a very famous PR and marketing
I didn't
agency in
realize
the
that you were
space.
okay.
Yeah, and within a few months, I was already managing the largest accounts. So I used to work with Binance, with Crypto.com, with Polkadot, Solana, all the biggest names, and do their PR and marketing internationally. And that obviously helped a lot, gain connections and knowledge, and understand the industry from within. And I started Chainwire with them. So Chainwire, the media distribution platform that was founded by Market Across and myself. And eventually in 2020, I understood that this is the moment. Like, this is the moment Bitcoin becomes mainstream. This is the moment crypto becomes mainstream. And I wanted to double down on my evangelism and my journey to bring this change and understand what is money to the masses. So I started doing CryptoJungle full time. I started my community, which now is the largest in Israel, with more than 65,000 members over Facebook. I started my podcast. I started getting employees, my first two employees in 2021. And later, as we go, obviously, we became much larger, and then a bear market came, and we became smaller. And now we're big again, and this time it does feel different in terms of the market maturity, the general mainstream maturity as well. So I am constantly featured in mainstream news in Israel, and I teach the government and the banks and the credit card companies, and I advise to them, and I'm an expert witness, and I do many, many things. Mostly have no life.
No,
I
dude,
just came back.
that's not nice. You're doing such cool stuff.
No, but I made a decision.
Yeah.
I knew that this is what it would mean. That I, on the one hand, would have to make trade-offs when it comes to my leisure time. You know, what I do with my spare time, or have none for that matter. I just recently came back from Thailand for my first vacation
Wow. Well
since I
deserved.
started the
Well
business.
deserved.
Yeah, and that's the short, long
But I
story.
think that like you evolved from a news site where you're just like translating and bringing like letting
Not
people know
just
this is what's
translating, I
happening.
was making it digestible,
You're
right? So
making it
not just the
relatable to
news,
the
but like
local.
think
Yeah.
about it, understanding.
No, I didn't mean it in an insulting way, but I mean
Yeah.
it in like in terms of like what it is. Ultimately, there's news happening. I need to make people aware of that news, and I think you've shifted much more to like educating and being able
So
to provide like,
education was there from the beginning, but it was
but
just
not so
happened
systemic as it is now. I think. I mean, I know you
now.
guys are working on like building products for specific industries and practice areas. Like I know you're working on a whole program for educating lawyers,
Yeah.
which a lot of my friends and colleagues and also my partner Yarden are involved in. And I think it's like imperative to be able to give these tools because people are engaging with these products anyways,
Mhm.
and they don't actually know what it is that they're doing. So like to be able to educate and
Yeah.
empower is real value.
Yeah, 2022 on that front was the change, because we had many CEOs and recruiters from the industry come to me and tell me, Ben, we need employees that know what they're talking about, that know the culture, the ideology, they understand what we do here, and they had at least a little grasp on taxation, regulation, and all these
Mm-hmm.
different concepts that affect what we do on a daily basis. So that's when I started Blockchain Expert course, which now is like the standard. It's the closest thing you can do to a college degree in blockchain in Israel. It's a almost 7 month course with an official certificate by the Israeli Chamber of Information Technologies, and that's why also the law enforcement, the government, they all come to my course to learn and to become eventually expert witnesses as well. So I already know firsthand how much it helps them in their job, and I lost count of how many of my students are now working in the space after coming in to make this their career. So I think in the conference I already met 12 of them,
Wow.
and
Okay.
these
As
are
we
just
say
the
in
one that came.
Hebrew, Ken Yirbo. May
Amen.
there be many more. One last point I want to talk about, which I usually like to end with hopium. This is like some criticism that I have on the industry, not on you, God forbid, but just like because we were both, I think, experienced. I don't know if you have the same take on it as I do. I know you're thinking like, what the hell is he going to be talking about now? But after October 7th happened, like amazingly, the crypto aid for Israel community developed, and a lot of people jumped on and said, how can we, help make quickly? So many people wanted to help out for Israel, and just to like, one example, there's a guy who I met here today who on October 7th, I was called to my army base and he wrote on like one of the groups, does anybody need anything? And I said, I need a mattress to sleep on. And within like 3 hours, he had,
So
what's that?
so.
Yeah.
Huh?
He had, I didn't want to give away, but he had 18 mattresses show up with some random truck driver at the base. So like you had so many people who were just like looking how to help. And this is something that I knew before October 7th about crypto donations generally, but it's something that I was again faced with where people like money in crypto is almost like a funny thing, okay? Because like you said, like you were first introduced to crypto by like you were playing poker, and so like you were forced to engage with another currency system. Most people who came by crypto initially got lucky, okay, and they're less emotionally tied to their cash, right? People buy all kinds of NFTs for like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's just like, what the fuck, like it's a flex or whatever it is. When I started fundraising in crypto like 3 years ago, I ran a fundraising campaign for a local charity here called Shalva. I was running the New York City Marathon, and I need to raise like $30,000, and I said, you know what I'm going to do, I'm going to raise it all on crypto. And I set this challenge for myself, and I said, you know what, I bet you, like with the strong following that I have, and the amount of people I know in the space, it'll be a breeze, right? Like for one person, what is that? Like half an ETH, okay? At the time, like ETH was like $4,000. Like I can cover this in like in a minute. But people are so not generous when it comes to like crypto fundraising. Like we raised 1 million shekel, which is, you know, it's nice, but like I would have expected much more for like a community that has access to funds. And you know, if you collaborate between, I don't know if you agree with me or not. I've been talking forever. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. But for an industry that is less emotional about their cash, they get awfully emotional when somebody's asking them to put their hands in their pocket for something that actually is like
So
a value.
the trickiest part about it was one, doing it very, very fast before the narrative changed. That was one tricky part, and we successfully did that. Like within 4 days of launching the campaign, we already raised $100,000, and we already were able to bring them into the banks to give it to Zaka, who were the first people in the villages around the Gaza Strip, the Gaza envelope. So it was super crucial.
In that aspect, on the infrastructure side, we moved quick. It was amazing. But $100,000 in crypto is nothing.
True. But we did what we could, and I choose to look on the positive side of our contribution.
You're an optimist. I'm a realist.
Yeah, but eventually the other part was the KYC, right? So we were able to create a mechanism in which we could fundraise. We only needed to KYC above $10,000. So that was very important because at the beginning people didn't want to donate because of that. So that was also part of what allowed us to get to these kind of numbers. So I choose to look at the bright side. Eventually, it wasn't easy as a whole, and it was. I know how impactful it was for the
people
nonprofit
who got the funds. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So that's that.
All right. Well, thank you for that.
Of course, thank you for participating.
Give us a little bit of optimism, just to end on an end note.
I think it's very hard not to be optimistic on crypto, even if my regular say is the more I'm short on humanity, the more I'm long on Bitcoin, right? Because things are turning into shit all around us, and the geopolitical aspect, the economic aspect is not easy. But the money printer has to go brr, no matter what we do.
Yeah.
And at least it means that we can make value for ourselves, for our families, for our communities, and continue to expand the word so that governments will be not in control of our money. Or
amen to that. Keep creating the amazing value that you are, and keep putting out the amazing content that you're putting out. And I'm looking forward to partying in Vegas.
Amen. Thank you very much,
man. I gotta go up here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you for listening to Beyond the Code. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe, share with your friends, and to tune in again next week for more fun and insightful conversation.